In tonight's headlines, national security absconders may face action sooner than proposed in draft Article 23 legislation. Hong Kong tipped to remain world's busiest cargo airport as city hosts a major aviation forum. And the Hang Seng Index gains 3%, a climb above 17,000 points for the first time since last November.
Under draft legislation, a person who leaves the city while facing a national security charge can be deemed an absconder 6 months after an arrest warrant is issued. But after listening to lawmakers scrutinizing the Safeguarding National Security Bill, Security Chief Chris Tang said he would consider removing the half-year requirement. This will mean the authorities can revoke the passports and cancel the professional qualifications of absconders sooner than planned. Tang also said innocent parties have to be protected from a 7-year jail term if they sign deals with an absconder before that person flees the city. He cited tenancy agreements as an example.
And when someone rents a place from an absconder, would someone have to move right away as soon as they find out their landlord is an absconder? We have considered comments from members, and we want to minimize the impact on third parties who have rented a place from absconders before the specification.
Officials said countries will be informed when an absconder's passport is cancelled. Lawmakers have been vetting the draft bill every day since it was gazetted last Friday and have gone through about half of the 181 clauses. Almost 2,000 representatives gathered at Asia World Expo in Chek-lap-kok this morning as Hong Kong hosted the world's largest air cargo forum for the first time. They were treated to a lion dance before the IATA World Cargo Symposium kicked off. In his welcoming address, Financial Secretary Paul Chan said the SAR is likely to remain the world's busiest cargo airport. Last year, Hong Kong handled 4.3 million tons of goods.
The picture behind this magnificent volume is Hong Kong's strong infrastructure and extensive air network. Just before the pandemic, Hong Kong IA connected to over 220 destinations with more than 1,100 flights per day. And we are recovering. At the end of last year, passenger throughput recovered to about 80% of pre-pandemic level. This year, we will see full recovery. And we are just getting going.
The 3-runway system is expected to be completed before the end of this year, allowing the airport to expand its passenger throughput to 120 million and handle over 10 million tons of cargo per year by 2035. Airport Authority Chairman Jack So said the German logistics company DHL is expanding its center in Hong Kong, while the U.S. firm United Parcel Service will establish its Asian hub in Hong Kong.
All these will facilitate the airport to handle the ever-increasing e-commerce volume.
Ronald Lam, chief executive of Cathay Pacific, described air cargo as the carrier's lifeline during the 3 years of COVID. He expressed confidence in Hong Kong's future in aviation and logistics. The World Cargo Symposium ends on Thursday. Maisie Mock, Cable News. The number of crime cases recorded in January jumped 20% from a year ago to over 7,600. Security Undersecretary Michael Chuk attributed the surge to a rise in fraud, theft, and blackmail. Violent crime in January also increased by 20% from a year ago to 863 cases. Those included threats during debt collection. Czech suspects there's been an increase in deaths because of the poor economy. For the whole of last year, the city recorded over 90,000 crime cases, up 29% from 2022. Relief agencies have provided food for Palestinians observing the first day of the holy month of Ramadan. At sunset, they gathered among the ruins of buildings bombed by Israel for iftar, the meal they have at sunset after fasting during the day. Zhao Dabrika said last year he marked Ramadan in his home. This year, he's living among the rubble, having lost his home and many loved ones. The heart-rending experience is familiar to all 2.3 million Palestinians trapped in Gaza. Randa Baka breaks down as she recalls losing her husband in an Israeli airstrike. She now relies on the little aid that trickles into Gaza to feed her 4 children. The United Nations chief, meanwhile, again expressed concerns.
Even though Ramadan has begun, the killing, bombing and bloodshed continue in Gaza. My strongest appeal today is to honor the spirit of Ramadan by silencing the guns and removing all obstacles to ensure the delivery of life-saving aid at the speed and massive scale required.
But at least 9 Palestinians were killed and 17 wounded when Israeli forces opened fire as people waited for food to be delivered in Gaza City. A medic at Al-Shifa hospital said most victims were shot in the upper body. Since October, over 31,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli military in its response to a Hamas attack.
Hong Kong stocks rallied for the 3rd straight session as investors snapped up blue chips amid reports they were undervalued. The Hang Seng Index climbed 1.7% in morning trade before finishing the day up 3%. The benchmark returned above 17,000 points for the first time since November last year, bouncing back from a 52-week low only 7 weeks ago. Mainland property stocks surged amid hopes that Beijing will continue its funding support to jumpstart the flagging sector. Developers Longfor and China Resources Land both saw double-digit gains, while the property management arm of Country Garden was up nearly 9%. Tech giants also performed well. Xiaomi recorded its biggest intraday jump in over a year, after announcing it will start taking orders later this month for its first electric vehicle, the SU7. Its main rival BYD gained 6.2%, despite a Wall Street Journal article casting doubt on its overseas sales target this year. Sportswear firm Li Ning swelled more than 8%, following reports that its founder is planning to take its firm private. The company is now worth $57 billion after its stocks retreated 66% in the past year. Raymond Yang, Cable News.